Hello. First-person shooter games have been around since the early 1990s. The original first-person shooter game, or FPS, was Wolfenstein 3D, followed by the world-renowned game Doom. In modern times, first-person shooter games consist of Battlefield, BioShock, and Call of Duty. All of these games have a multiplayer aspect to them, in which you compete against other players online. In my opinion, I think ultimate success revolves around the proper weapons loadout. Creating proper weapon loadout requires the examination of weapon choices, game modes, and the role of the individual player and what the team may choose. Without examination of your weapons choices, how do you choose the best loadout for victory? The different weapons to choose from. You have primary weapons and secondary weapons. Your primary weapons consist of assault rifles, shotguns, light machine guns, sniper rifles, and specials, or also known as the assault shield. Secondary weapons are made up of pistols, launchers, and specials, or known as the crossbow and ballistic knife. According to CallOfDuty.com, a community online of Call of Duty players worldwide, the most popular weapon choice is the PDW, which is a submachine gun. To assist your primary and secondary weapons, you also have the choice of different equipment. Equipment consists of grenades, C4, and a combat axe, to name a few. To assist your primary and secondary weapons, you can also choose attachments equipment. This can consist of anything from quick draw handles, different types of reticle sights, a suppressor, or even full metal jacket ammunition. The possibilities may be endless, or may not be endless, but there are many choices to assist you, the player. Randomly picking your weapon is one thing, but to do it strategically is the way to go. How do we do this? The game modes of Call of Duty influence what weapons a player might use. There are 3 game modes in multiplayer: Core, which covers core and hardcore, combat training, and party games. The Core mode covers most of the community that plays Call of Duty. Within Core mode there are 12 sub-modes, with Team Deathmatch being your most popular. Choosing your weapon loadout depends on what game mode you are playing. Within all of these different modes, there are objective modes like Domination, Capture the Flag, or Hardpoint, and point-oriented modes like Team Deathmatch, Kill Confirmed, or Free-for-all. Within all of these different modes, it could be easy or hard to understand what weapons you might choose, so let me help. In a mode like Hardpoint, you might prefer a high magazine capacity weapon due to the consistent meetings between you and your opponent. The MSMC is a great example of a high magazine capacity weapon. The magazines hold a lot of rounds and it fires fast. A mode where you might prefer a sniper's rifle could be Domination, because all the opponents make their way to an isolated target in the game mode that you, the sniper, could focus on. In a mode like Team Deathmatch, you can essentially pick any weapon. This is more of a mode about the role in which a player and a team plays than it is the weapon of choice. The role a player chooses will generally have the biggest impact on their weapon choice. What style of player are you? For instance, I am a team player. Thus, I want to attack the opposing team quickly and often. I use the SCAR. This weapon has a high damage capacity on its ammunition, and it has a decent sized magazine, meaning I can shoot powerful rounds quick, fast, and efficient. If you're a lone wolf player, you might want to snipe, which I also do from time to time. Or you might want to choose a LMG like the Mark 48, which has a high capacity magazine, somewhere between 100 and 300 rounds depending on how many rounds you've already fired, which allows the player to go ahead, lay down a defensive zone, stay in that defensive zone, and then defend any opponent that might come towards that defensive zone. Some players choose to be what's called a runner. This player will choose nothing but a pistol and a combat knife. I know there's no knife there, but when it's blank, it assumes the player is only carrying a knife. These are more along your lines of your sneaky players, those who try to get you from behind. Now that it's time to play Call of Duty, I want to leave you remembering this. Regardless of how long you've played Call of Duty, or if this is your first time playing and you're a beginner, I hope now that you know how to discern between weapons choices, game modes, and the role of player that you might be according to your team's role. And as a rule of thumb, I want to leave you with the old saying, don't bring a knife to a gunfight. Those runners I told you about, they usually don't do so well. Thank you.